Hey, welcome. We're continuing on with our beginner series. So we're going right back to the beginning and we're learning how to fret our major open chords, the chords that we will rely on for the rest of our guitar playing days. No matter where they end up, we'll rely on these chords because they will allow you to play tens of thousands of your favorite songs, okay? Today we're looking at the F. Now, I learned from a book. So when I looked at the F chord, I had this to look at. And I'm like, what? Now, it's not that hard today, but when I first looked at it and tried to match up all of my fingers the way they were in the photo, okay, I had my elbow out here and it was virtually impossible. And I said to myself, you know what? Maybe I've picked the wrong instrument because I'll never be able to do that. And that's kind of a mistake. And as I've mentioned in other parts of this series, as a true raw beginner, don't look too far ahead. It will just intimidate you. When you are ready to get to that point, you will find that to be much more easier than if you looked at it too early. So please don't do that, all right? Now, in this case, we are not going to play this chord like that, all right? This is our F major chord. We're not going to play it. It's a bar chord, and that is another sort of stage of guitar playing all in its own. You can get by for life without ever playing bar chords, okay? There may be a few songs that you might be restricted from playing because you don't play bar chords, but to be honest, you will do just fine if you never do that. So let's not worry about that right now. So we're going to play our F chord in what I call an alternate way, all right? And the good news is it's very similar to a chord that we've already learned, our C major chord. It's just replicated on the strings below, okay? So what I mean by that is we remember our C major chord, which is these three notes fretted here. Well, for the F, we're going to move everything down, right? So it looks exactly the same, but from the strings underneath the original strings, okay? And lastly, on that pointer finger, instead of curling up and fretting just that like we do with the C, we're going to let our fleshy come down, and we want to cover the first two strings. It's called a mini bar, okay? So we're going to mini bar. See that? Mini bar. So I've got the flesh of my first finger right across the two first strings in that first fret, okay? Right? And they both ring out. Okay? And we're going to take our fat ring finger, okay? And we're going to go to the third string of the second fret, okay? And we're going to follow up with our ring finger, one string above it. And that's our actual F note, okay? And when we strum, we're going to strum just like the D. We're going to strum 4 up, sorry. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. See, I still say up and down and get them all mixed up too, so. So there is the fingering and the strumming for that alternate way to play the F major chord. From the fourth string up and out of the guitar. And again, for optics, my pinky is not involved, nor is my thumb. So it's just those. All right? And yes, eventually you will learn to play an F chord elsewhere up the neck. And eventually you'll learn that this, along with other chords that we've just learned, in our opener series, beginner series, the C and the D, we can play those in the same position up the neck without changing our fingering, but we'll get that at a later date when you're ready, all right? So, our F, and before I leave you on this F, if I was to curl up my first finger like I have to when I fret my C, well, that's an F major 7. So you can play this F if you don't fret the 2, right? Those 2 strings, the difference is very negligible, right? But that is your F, and if you roll up that finger and allow that bottom string, the first string, to ring out, you have an F major 7. All right? Okay, moving on.